Keto is the hottest diet in the world. And inside this video, I'm going to share how people over 40 can biohack today's most popular diet, the ketogenic diet. Because the traditional ketogenic diet has several pitfalls for people who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Now, fortunately, you can still get all the amazing rapid fat loss, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory benefits of ultra low carb diets like the keto diet when you use it in conjunction with my one-day hormone reset diet solution that you can learn about by clicking or tapping the link around this video. Now, everything that I'm going to educate you on biohacking the keto diet inside this video is backed up by real science. So when you go over to my website, you're going to see a couple dozen different published studies. So you know everything I'm talking about and educating you on is actually backed up by real research. My name is Sean Hatzel. I'm a 47-year-old stubborn fat expert. And you know, one thing that I've realized after being in the health and fitness industry over 20 years, 6 grandkids later, is that people over 40 years old must diet differently than younger people because our current hormonal condition is much different. So up here on the whiteboard, you're going to see a few pitfalls for people over 40 following the traditional keto diet. You're going to see this hormonal effect that takes place, and I'm going to give you the solutions to overcome this so you can still get all these amazing benefits of these ultra low carb diets without suffering through these negative hormonal consequences. So first, before I dive in, what is a keto diet if you don't know? I'm going to give you the short and quick explanation. You cut out all carbohydrates, you eat 5% carbs. You eat 75% of your calories from friendly fats, and you only eat 20% protein. Now, when you do this for a period of about 3 to 7 days, takes up to 1 week for a lot of people, your body makes a shift. It stops burning glucose from carbohydrates as a fuel source, and then it relies on ketones from friendly fats as a fuel source instead. This is known as becoming fat adapted, but it can come with some challenges for people who are over 40 years old because of the way it negatively impacts hormones. So let's talk about that. So the first thing to look at on a traditional keto diet is declining resting metabolic rate. You see, research shows that people who follow an ultra low carb diet and cut calories actually have a declining leptin level of 50% after just 1 week. Also, because you're cutting out glucose from carbohydrates on a keto diet, this means you're cutting out one of the primary building blocks of TSH, thyroid-stimulating hormone. This is your thyroid hormone. So it's very important that you optimize leptin and thyroid sensitivity. And the way that you can do this is simply at the right time, every single week, have a glucose-based, high-carb cheat meal. Now, this will take you out of ketosis temporarily, but it will reset your leptin sensitivity and it will increase your T4 to T3 conversion because you're giving your body the nutrients it needs to produce thyroid hormones and optimize your leptin sensitivity. Now, if you're an exerciser, you can get away with doing 2 of these cheat meals at a specific time every week that I'd share with you over at my website. And if you're not an exerciser, you want to stick to 1 time per week. So there's challenge number 1 is a declining resting metabolic rate, because when leptin and thyroid levels decline, research shows that you get metabolic slowdown. So this can prevent this from happening. The second one is unsustainable fat loss. Now, the keto diet is famous for rapid fat loss, but when you actually line it up side by side with published studies following other low carb diets or even carb cycling diets, you'll find that the fat loss is very similar. So it's not necessarily superior from a fat loss perspective like most people think it is. It's still very effective at fat loss, but it primarily should be used as a therapeutic diet. So people who have cancer, who have epilepsy, who have metabolic disease or some type of inflammatory disease. That's what the keto diet really works best for. Now, you get rapid fat loss initially on any diet, right? And in order to sustain this fat loss and overcome weight loss plateaus, you have to focus on optimizing 3 hormones: growth hormone, adrenaline, and glucagon. All 3 of these hormones are responsible for fighting disease and releasing stored fat into your bloodstream where it can be used as an energy source. So the way to optimize these 3 hormones when you follow a keto diet or any diet is to simply use my morning ritual and time your meals differently when you wake up 4 to 5 days per week. When you do this just 4 or 5 days per week, you can increase growth hormone levels over 1,000%, and you also boost adrenaline and glucagon, like I mentioned. And when all 3 of these hormones are optimized, you also take control of ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone. So this will also help you eliminate your hunger and cravings simply by timing your meals the right way 4 or 5 days per week when you wake up. The third pitfall of the keto diet is disrupted sleep, and this is a very common side effect. Not only when people are going through the induction phase and making the switch into ketosis, insomnia is one of the main side effects of the keto flu. However, it's also one of the main side effects of long-term ketosis. I know dozens of people that have tried the keto diet, but they can't sleep when they do that. So the solution to this is to regulate your cortisol, your melatonin, and your serotonin. These are the three hormones that are going to induce deep sleep, and they're going to regulate your cortisol cycle so that you can recover faster. And the way that you do this is you actually have a huge dinner. So instead of eating the majority of your calories early in the day, like we've been programmed to believe all these years, you're much better off saving your calories for later in the day and having your biggest meal at night for dinner time. And when you use the right combination in this meal, and you're going to enjoy this thoroughly, 4 to 5 days per week, you regulate your cortisol cycle. And when you do this, it stimulates your brain to release melatonin and produce more serotonin. And that is a snapshot of how my one-day hormone reset diet solution works. Now you can click or tap the link around this video, go over and read all about my wife's inspiring story and how she used this exact same system to lose 22 pounds of upper menopausal belly fat in just 10 weeks. She completely reinvented herself. Her story is nothing short of miraculous, so make sure you go read about it. Thanks for watching, and God bless.